All right, guys, thank you so much for being here today. Happy Friday. And today we have a great presentation here from David Lopez from EPSON. And I think you'll learn a lot from him. And I will just go right into it. And David, take it away.
All right. So with that being said, I'm David Lopez. I'm one of the product managers here at EPSON America. I cover all of the signage products. So anything from our solvent side, our resin that we're going to be speaking to today, and our UV flatbed printers as well. On the call, we also have Matt McCausland, who's our senior product manager, who I work for on here. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to use the chat function, and I can maybe read some out loud. If you want to ask me something, I'll give some time towards the end of the presentation where if you want to ask something and have a conversation, we can go ahead and do that as well. Usually how the webinars work and how I like to do it is I will go ahead and start off with a presentation, give you an overview of what's resin, what is the product, and then from there we'll go to a live demo, we'll see it printing, we'll go through some of the different features, and we'll answer some questions. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to that presentation. All right, so the SureColor R Series 64-inch roll-to-roll resin printer. So for a lot of you, this name resin is going to be a little bit new, and I'm going to explain what it is and how it fits into the market and fits into the signage family here at EPSON. So we actually have two different models that we came out with. We have the R5070PE and R5070L. Now, if you really look at the images, they're fairly similar, and they really are. The only difference between it is the ink-based system or the ink delivery system. You're going to notice on the L, and L stands for large, it's going to have double the ink capacity, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a sec. The R5070PE, PE just stands for production edition, and that's going to have 1.5 liter ink bag per color. On the bottom, you're going to see here it's CMYK, light magenta, light cyan, and optimizer. So I'll explain a little bit on what optimizer is as well when we go down the presentation. So a little bit about the R5070PE. Like I mentioned, 1.5 liter ink bags, vinyl production speeds up to 225 square feet an hour. This is on an industry-proven platform. So for those of you who know EPSON and you're familiar with maybe our S-Series line, we've had a great platform that we've used, a really good chassis that we use that gave great panel-to-panel production. It just did really well. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. What we did was we grabbed that proven platform, brought it over to the R Series because we know it's going to perform very well. This does get bundled in with our EPSON Edge Print RIP software. This is our own proprietary software. For those of you who already have an existing workflow, don't be afraid, because we actually work really well with the RIP manufacturers. We have constant communications with Onyx, Caldera, Wasatch, you name it, we speak with them. So we do provide what we call the SDKs, or the software development kits, and that's for them to develop print drivers for this printer. Now, for those of you who are new and are okay with using our bundled in RIP software, it's still a very powerful RIP software. You can do a lot of amazing things. All the printer or R Series printers that we have here, we run off of our Edge Print RIP software, and they do very well. I'll explain a little bit about it down the presentation. One of the things that we're very excited about that we've added to this, and something we've been asking for quite some time with our engineering department in Japan, was a user replaceable printhead. The first thing that we think about when we're designing printers, or a couple things that we think about, is productivity, reliability. So when it comes down to productivity, we wanted to enable the customers or the end users to have a printhead on the shelf and replace it if they need to. Now, one thing I do like to make clear, and I'll say it a couple times, is our printheads are meant to last many, many years. So this is not a consumable. It's not something you're going to be changing out quite often. This is a heat-free technology. Our printhead technology is made by us. And like I said, it's meant to last many years. We just want to enable you, the customer, to be able to grab a printhead off the shelf and put it in if you need to. So it's again with keeping up with productivity. We do know that accidents happen, and this might be something that will be beneficial for you. The R5070PE does ship with one full set of ink. little bit about the L version. You're gonna notice, again, a lot of the same things. One of the unique features here, again, going with productivity and efficiency while printing, is the hot swappable capabilities.
Come 3 days with 0 mail.
Okay. So the hot swappable capabilities. Now, the hot swappable capabilities, what that means is you're going to have 2 1.5 liter ink bags per color. And what that means to you is while you're printing, you're using 1 bag of each color. Let's say yellow goes out. It's going to automatically switch over to the next yellow to keep productivity going. You don't have to stop your printer, and it's going to keep you running for a lot longer. So again, that productivity is always in our mind. We want to make sure that you're up. One of the nice little things I like to say is if you're not printing, you're not making money. So we want to make sure that this printer is always printing, and this is giving you that edge with that. This is also bundled in with our EPSON Edge Print Rip software. And of course, this has our user replaceable print head. So let's talk a little bit about the product concept and why we came up with the resin printer. How does it fit into our family of signage printers? And what are the things that we're thinking about when we're actually doing this? So first and foremost, wide application compatibility. Because of the optimizer, which I spoke a little bit about, was the optimizer acts as like a coating or a glue, if you will, that gets laid down, and then the ink pigment goes on top, and that's what actually adheres to it. Now, because of this optimizer, we're able to have a wide media compatibility, meaning we can print to uncoated medias, we can print to textiles, we can print to, of course, your banners and vinyls and different things like that. So it's just going to open up that media compatibility, especially in times like now. We're now about 1.5 years into that COVID situation, but when things hit first, a lot of end users had to shift strategies and say, all right, how can I use my printer to print on different types of materials? And the resin printer really fits in nice here because now you can be able to diversify what you offer and print on a lot of different medias. It's also going to be quick dry. This is a water-based technology, so it's going to be quick drying and odorless, and of course, immediately be able to laminate. So this is a nice, great feature on here. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the high scratch durability because of the actual technology of the ink. I think I get a little bit more deeper into that later on in the presentation, but a quick little thing about that is basically what's happening is we have resin that melts over the pigment and it helps with that high scratch durability. This is great for that wallpaper market, which is very big in the resin printing space. The wall, any kind of wall coverings or wall graphics, floor graphics and things like that. These are the things that it's going to be very useful for. Next thing I want to talk about is image quality. If you know EPSON, one of the main things that we're really known for is our image quality, and we have not fallen short here with this printer. This is going to have our latest printhead technology. For a lot of people who know or maybe heard that EPSON had printheads in a different manufacturer, a long time ago, we used to actually OEM different printheads out, but we stopped at a certain generation. We started continuing the technology and bringing up different generations of printheads that have not been seen in any other printers but EPSON printers. So this is going to have our latest printhead technology. It's a giant printhead for an amazing price, which I'll talk to you about a little bit. It's going to have variable droplet technology. This is where that image quality comes in. Being able to do small dots, medium-sized dots, large dots really controls the image and how you actually see a skin tone, even solid colors. Printing solid colors can be difficult, but if you're able to control the dot gain, and control how it reacts, we're able to get nice, smooth images. Let's talk a little bit about the reliability. That's another thing. If you're down having to do maintenance and do a bunch of different things, you're not printing. And it goes back to my saying, if you're not printing, you're not making money. So we wanted to make a printer that was reliable, from the print heads, from the maintenance to everything. We've put a lot of engineering into this printer and we're very proud of it. Again, we talked a little bit about the S-Series chassis before. It's been out, the S-Series, S80, if you know it, the S60, S40, it's been out for about 5 years now. And it just performed phenomenal out in the market. And especially with taking up the media, accurate feeding, just the whole system did really well. So we got that chassis, brought it over to the R-Series. We've done some nice upgrades. one of the nice things that we do is we listen to our customers. We really say, you know, what do you think can be better for this printer? So we listened to a couple of things, and the user replaceable printhead was one of those things. That's why we're very excited about it. Engineering a printhead that is sophisticated as the ones that we use, being able to pop it out, put it back in very easily so anybody can do this was a challenge, and we did it, and we're very excited about it. Our bulking systems for continuing productivity. We did even a 4.3-inch touchscreen panel on here. Makes it a little bit user-friendly with some great information on there. And then the hot swappable functionality with the R5070L. So now let's talk a little bit about the ink chemistry without getting a little too technical. So like I said, this is a water-based liquid. So if you look at that drop up there, it's a great representation of the ink drop. There's the water-based, and that's what we call the carrier, or that's what brings the pigment to the media, which is coated with that optimizer or printed with that optimizer. Now, what's happening is we have a 3-tier heating system. And during the heating system, when the ink goes down, the water evaporates, the resin starts to melt, and it melts over that pigment. And what's going to happen, it's going to help protect that pigment, and it's going to help with that durability and scratch resistance, which is very important for the wall covering market, wall graphics, and different things like that. So it's going to be a little bit better protected, and that scratchability is going to be a lot better. Another thing that we're thinking about, and that, like I mentioned in the product concept, was the versatility of applications. Because of the printhead technology, because of the ink technology, we can now do a variety of things. I want you to kind of focus on the middle icon or the middle images there, the wall covering market. If you're not in it, it's something that's huge. It's grown, it's expanding. You know, it's set to really expand in the next couple of years. It's coming back. Wallpapers is great now with the technology that we have customized things, you know, thousands and thousands of colors. You can print on your images, different things. You're able to do that. And then the resin technology is able to help protect that and give you a great image for a wall. Another thing is the textiles. This is where being able to be diverse in your offerings, being able to do maybe some niche projects and have one printer that can do this. This is it, because that textile is a great market. Maybe for samples. There's a lot of people that need samples for major production where they go into, you know, a larger factory. You're able to provide samples, maybe small run things or small run customization. In 2021, and you know, the past couple of years, customization has been one of the leading things for our side of the industry. And being able to put someone's face or you know, have a novelty type of a textile pillow covering or some offering there is a great thing to offer. And it's not much of a difference on what you're actually doing. It's just switching out the material. Because of our printer technology and how well we get great images, we're able to step into that fine art world and get some great images on there so you can see there. And then I kind of finish off with the interior decor image, because there's a lot going on here. You can print anything from that bar countertop to the wallpaper on the walls. And then if you look at that chair, that canvas cotton, you can actually print to that, upholster it, and now you have the whole setting printed off of one type of printer, which is amazing. Here is our massive 2.6-inch micro TFP printhead. Now, 2.6 inch doesn't sound so big, but I'll show you a live version of that printhead, and you're going to see it's almost the size of my head. It's a really massive printhead, and that's how we're able to do a lot of great things. There's multiple blades on there, multiple channels of where the ink comes out. We're able to do some amazing things here, and we're going to have 1,600 nozzles per CMYK and optimizer, 800 nozzles per light color, so light cyan, light magenta, variable drop sizes, and of course, user replaceable. So this is one of the things that we can do that the competitor cannot do right now. And this is what's really going to separate us apart. And this is what's really going to separate you as a customer from that quality. We have two different modes. We have a speed production mode and we have a quality mode. Now you'll see a lot of people will say, well, that quality mode is probably a lot slower. It really isn't. It doesn't slow down a whole much, but it still gives you that better quality. But what's happening is On the speed production mode, it's going to lay down optimizer and the ink at the same time. Now, look at this image in front of you and look all the way to the left. You're going to see the black dot. In the middle, you're going to see that clear dot. That's the optimizer. You're going to notice that only about half of that dot is actually on the optimizer. Now, remember that optimizer is what holds the ink in place. Optimizer helps ink migration, helps adhere the ink to the media. It plays a really important role. Now, let me be clear, even if you print with the speed and production mode, it's not going to get any kind of banding or anything like that, but the quality is going to be a little bit less than if you go to the quality mode. This is what we can do that the competitors cannot do right now, is we can turn off certain channels, lay down a bed of optimizer, and put color on top of it. So now if you look at those dots, they're perfectly placed exactly where we want them. And when you have perfectly placed dots, you get perfectly, you get really nice quality of an image. Color consistency is key. I think this is huge. I typically don't like to read too much off a presentation, but I think that's a huge statement. It really is, especially when doing wall graphics. The wallpaper market, again, really big in this space here. And having certain things to make this happen is a huge thing. So our heating technology, we have a 3-tier heating system. So we're not just blasting heat in the front. We actually have a pre, a platen, and a post-cure heating system. And what's happening is that evaporation process of the water-based liquid starts at the platen and it goes down to the post-cure to finish off, meaning we don't have to have our post-cure heater so hot, which reduces some of the inconsistency of the color. Also, our printhead technology that I spoke about, and then a stable and accurate paper feed. This is one of the most important things that people take for granted. If you think about it, the media is going through, the carriage or the printhead is going the opposite way horizontally. It's just, there's a lot of movement going on, and having an accurate paper feed is very important. And that's how we're able to maintain color. So if you look at the image here on the left side, we have a representation of inconsistent color. Just to let you know, I've been on the production side. I've actually printed things. I printed wall covers. And the worst thing is you print a bunch of panels. You really don't notice it right off the bat. You're going to a customer, you're putting up the panels, and you notice that one is significantly off. Now, this is a waste of money, waste of material, labor, reprints, unhappy customers. Why not get it right the first time? And I think we've done a great job here with our printhead technology. One of the major factors here, going back to that printhead technology, since it's a heat-free technology, it's meant to last for many years. There's no variance. I think with some of the competitive products, when you're replacing printheads, often you have an older printhead and a newer printhead. That's going to give different color shifts. You're going to have to do more color management. You're going to have to do a whole bunch of things to try to get it to shift into that same color. If you have a printhead that's going to last many years, the consistency is going to be a lot better throughout the time of the printing process. This is a little bit deeper into our 3-tier heating system, so you can actually see it. There's our pre-heater, our platen heater, which I think is one of the most important things here because it starts that evaporation process, like I mentioned, from the platen, and then it stops at the post here. Now that airstream that you're seeing that's to help regulate the heat and make sure that we control the temperatures perfectly. Now, one of the things is the competitive products, what they do is they have a radiant heat where it's just like a fan, it's super hot, it blows over the whole entire piece of media, and it has to be a really high heat because they only have one heater, and it tends to sometimes shrink the material and it causes issue with materials. So what we're doing here is we don't have to have it so hot, and we have a really intelligent heating system where we have 4 different zones, and we're able to control exactly where we printed is where you're going to get the post-cure heat. So it's a very intelligent system here. Going back to print consistency, our feeding and take-up system is very important. And just to have that accurate, not only is it important for the actual image, but if you're going to take something to a laminator, again, I've been on the print side, and the pain is if you have media start to cone and you're going to try to laminate, stuff starts to walk from left to right, and then you're going to have issues. And it is kind of a pain. So to try to make this the easiest process as possible, we used our award-winning chassis, and it's been performing extremely well for us. Here's a little bit about inconsistent print length and the importance of it. Going back to, you're printing a bunch of things, maybe some of the media shrank, maybe something was off. The worst thing you want to go to is go to a customer, you didn't catch it at the print side, you're going on there and you look at the image on the left, it's slightly off. Going back to waste of material, waste of printing, ink, electricity, unhappy customers. We've tried to really focus in on this and get the results that we expect. And we've done a great job here with the SureColor R series printers. So you can see representation. We want to make sure it's always, the panel length is great. One of the nice tests that we've done is when we first got it, Matt, myself, we printed a bunch of squares of different ink colors, printed a whole roll. We measured the beginning, the middle, and the end to see the actual consistency. And we were really surprised on how accurate the sizing was. And this to us gives us a great indication that when we're doing panel to panel production or a wall covering or something that we have to do multiple tiles or panels, we're able to get that consistency that we're expecting and looking for. A little bit about our ink system, our ink delivery system, or ink bay. So they are 1.5 liter ink bags, and it really reduces waste. I like to call it the Capri Sun pouch of a bag, but if we really think about it to the cartridge-based systems like we have on some of our S series, the older systems, it is going to reduce that space and waste because of the bag kind of just sucks right in and it's easy to dispose of. Has it hot swappable capabilities for R5070L. Very easy installation. We'll go over it on the live portion of this. It's simple and compact. Automatic maintenance. I think this is a huge key factor. Going back to productivity, if you have to do a daily maintenance, so you have to start cleaning things every single day, that's time away from you from printing. We've came up with a great system with our fabric wiper. So we have a couple different things going on. We have a flushing pad on the left. I'll go over this on the live demonstration so you get a visual look on how this actually works. But basically the print head goes over, it soaks itself, it wipes itself, and it goes back to its capping station. For a typical user, this is 8-hour shift. You only have to do a manual maintenance about once a month. And when you do this manual maintenance once a month, it takes about 10 minutes. So it's not really something, even if that, not even 10 minutes really. The nice thing is Jake, our application specialist, myself, Matt, we're working on some videos to show the manual maintenance process that we're going to be posting on YouTube, so you can see how easy it is as well. So those are in the near future. Here's a little bit about the user replaceable printhead. It's a very easy process. We have this technology. We made it easy enough to just pop in and pop out. Even though this is a sophisticated piece of technology, we still made it happen. Matt and I physically replaced it, a printhead on there. It took us about 10 minutes. We say within the 1 hour, and that's because it takes time to, maybe flush some of the ink out, put the new head in, put ink into that printhead, and then actually do the automatic alignments. So when you put in a new printhead, you go through the functions, it'll do some automatic alignments to make sure that the bidirectional alignments are good, and then you're good to go. So we say typically within an hour. That's huge. Something happens, you're able to replace a printhead and be back in production within an hour. That's amazing. Here's a little comparison between our S series and our R series. This is the new 4.3 touchscreen panel. Very informative. I really like it because you're able to do a couple quick things. And one of the things that I really like is the preheat heater portion of this. Now, because of the technology, we have to actually heat up the heaters, and heating up the heaters take anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, for productivity ways, that's kind of 3 to 5 minutes is 3 to 5 minutes. So what we want to do is, if you have a job coming up, you can start preparing your files. You can preheat your heaters from a touch of a button over here. So when you actually send your file to print, it just goes straight to printing and it seems seamless. So this is one little function that we've done to help that productivity along the way. It's also going to give some nice estimated print completion times. So the nice thing, I thought I replaced this image because it has a bunch of Japanese letters on there, but it might have gone with an older one. But what's going on there where the Japanese letters on the screen, what it does, it actually gives you a little preview of what your image is that you're printing. And it gives you an exact, or not exact, but very close. I would like to say exact because every time I've seen it, it's been exact. But you know, things can change. That of course there's margin. But for instance, it'll tell you the amount of completion and the curing time it takes. So it gives you a nice estimation of when your print is going to be completed. A little bit about Edge Print. This is Epson Edge Print. This is the RIP software that gets bundled in. Even though it gets bundled in, a lot of people say, well, if it gets bundled in, it's probably not the greatest RIP software. We've done a great job with Epson Edge Print RIP software. It has powerful color management technologies. We have Adobe PostScript 3, easy tiling, spot color matching, custom color library support. It already has the Pantone color libraries embedded into this. So if you're designing with the Pantone color libraries and it recognize it and try to do its best to hit those colors if it's within the color gamut. So it's still a very powerful RIP software. I like to tell everybody, you know, I've taught a lot of people on how to run the RIP software. And for someone who've never really used this RIP software, I can teach them in about 30, 45 minutes to an hour. And even if they forgot everything I said, I think it's easy enough where they can go down button by button and figure out what they have to do. We've made it very easy for the production person actually running the printer to the owner can run this no problem. And then I mentioned, if you guys do have an existing workflow, we work very well with the RIP manufacturers. They probably have a live driver or they're working on some drivers. I know Onyx has a live driver already. That's one of the partners that we do work with a lot. So if you do need have an existing workflow and need a driver, you can contact your dealer and or you can contact the manufacturer and see if they have one. Also, SAI, I spoke to them recently and they said they have a driver as well. One of the next things I want to talk to you about, and which I'll show on the live presentation as well, is Epson Cloud Solution Port. This is a very important thing, especially when it comes to the R series. We talked a little bit about that user replaceable printhead, and that's a program that you sign up for. Now, in order to be in that program, you have to be registered to Epson Cloud Solution Port. This is a free web-based software, and it does a lot of things. I'm going to go over a couple of things, which you get some powerful fleet monitoring, or just monitoring at all, whether you have one printer or multiple printers. You're able to see how long it's been on the ready mode, how many errors has it gotten, what's your productivity look like. Per job, you can see how much ink you've used. You can see total per, let's say you can designate maybe per quarter, per month, however you want to do it, and see how much ink and how much use you're getting out of your printer. So you can do some cost analysis and change some strategies there in your business side. Another important thing, and this is, I think, should catch everybody's attention. When you're registered to Epson Cloud Solution Port, that price of that printhead goes down to $695. That's a very inexpensive price when it comes to the technology that's coming in here. So the total cost of ownership is very good. So you have to be registered to Epson Cloud Solution Port. Again, it is free to register to Epson Cloud Solution Port, and you do get a significant price decrease on that printhead. Whether you're replacing it yourself or you're not, you still will get that printhead discount if you're registered to Epson Cloud Solution Port. And I'll show you a lot of the cool features on the live portion of the demo. So this is the last of my presentation slide. If you guys take anything away from this presentation, these are some of the key points that you really need to consider and think about. This is going to have the latest Epson printhead technology. We're known for it, our variable droplet technology, heat-free. You're able to replace it if you're in that user replaceable program. It's a great, great thing that we have with the R series printers. Color consistency. Color consistency is key, main thing. It was a topic on one of my slides. Definitely something to consider when you're doing panel-to-panel production, or that's something that you're looking to offer in the future. Immediate lamination, water-based technology. You're able to instantly laminate without any issue. There's no worry about degassing or anything like that. And you're able to get even faster times. Application versatility, being strategic and shifting your applications and medias that you can actually offer is a great way to either, if you're just starting your business, to offer many things, or as you have to switch and do different things, you're able to offer different medias. Accurate panel-to-panel production, going back to that wall graphics and that panel, wallpapers, wall graphics, and things like that. Having accurate panel-to-panel production is going to save you time and money in the long run. So it's something that we focus on. And last but not least, I like to call it EPSON quality, because that's what we're known for. And we have not fallen short. You'll see it. We print out some really great prints at great speeds, and I think you guys will be impressed. All right, with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop sharing this presentation and then jump in front of the camera. All right, so before I go over, I don't see any questions in the chat. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Or if you want to maybe raise your hand and ask me a question, you're more than welcome to. We can make this a bit of a conversation if you guys like. I do have the earphones in and everything, so I can hear everybody. All right, so I don't see anything in the chat. We'll go ahead and just go on to the live demo. So behind me, we have the R5070L. We actually have two of our printers here. On this side over here, we have our R5070PE, and we have the L right behind us. As you can see, it's currently printing. Now, you can see the vibrant colors that we're getting off of this. It's a great vibrant colors. That's the first thing. It's kind of hard to tell because the poster here is kind of covering a lot of it, but I can see it on this side. But the vibrant colors is the first thing that caught my attention when I was first seeing this printer and beta testing it. It gives really nice color reproduction, nice saturation, and that has to do with the ink technology and the printhead technology. So right in the front, first thing you can kind of see is we have a nice viewing window. So you can actually see your prints. You want to come in and inspect your prints. You have a nice window with LED lights inside where you can come in and really look at what you're printing. On the bottom here, you're going to see the post-cure heater. We talked a little bit about the intelligent heating system that we have here. So we actually have one zone here, and then on the opposite side, we'll have the same. So we'll have a zone here and a zone here. Now, why I call it intelligent is because let's say we're just printing on one side of the printer for whatever reason. This will only heat up where it needs to heat up because we have different zones here. It'll focus onto the printed area. This is going to help minimize and reduce the shrinkage that can happen to different vinyls and things like that. Here to the side of me, you're going to see the ink delivery system, and I'm going to show you. Let's see if we can get a camera switched over to this ink delivery system so I don't have to stop this printer. Give me 1 second. All right, perfect. So this is how easy it is to replace the ink system. I'm able to pull this out. It comes in, there's a tray that comes in here. This is how the ink comes. Now, the nice thing is that there's some actual alignment pins. So all you have to do is just put the alignment pins right in and put the little lever down and stick it in. Now, one of the nice things is that inside of this is there's an actual skeleton. The last thing you want is you want to see a bunch of ink left over and you're going to say, well, it didn't use up all of my ink. The skeleton, what this helps is when it's actually taken in ink, it helps utilize as much of the ink as possible so you don't feel like there's any ink left over, and it utilizes exactly what you have purchased. So we have the ink bag in here. We push this back in. We close it up. Simple as that. Next thing I want to go to is, since we have this open, we'll kind of just zoom in to the carriage. Again, this is the R5070 PE. And you're going to notice here is the head carriage. On the side here is the fabric wiper. We have the flushing pads. So this is the process that we do. And this is how we're able to maintain the nozzle integrity and make sure that our print heads are working properly. So what's happening during the maintenance cycle is, I forgot to mention, on the actual ink delivery system is a maintenance slot. Now that maintenance slot is actually going to push up maintenance liquid through the system. Let's go ahead and go a little bit up. Perfect. Through the maintenance system, and now it actually fills up these flushing pads. And now what happens is the printhead goes over these flushing pads. It soaks itself for couple seconds, comes over to the fabric wiper, wipes itself, and then goes back to the capping station. So we came up with the system to try to minimize the daily maintenance that you actually have to do. So it's a great, very, very great system that we have here, and it helps with that nozzle reliability. So all you have to do in the morning, come in, maybe check your nozzles, and then start printing. When it comes down to that manual maintenance, we actually have a couple videos coming out on how to do this, but the manual maintenance is very easy. This will come with a cleaning kit. You have a swab, you have some cleaning liquid, and you're just gonna quickly clean along the caps, clean along the sides of here, and you will also clean around the bottom of the print head, never on the face of the print head. And that's about it. It comes back, like I said, it takes about 10 minutes. This fabric wiper is a consumable, and it's replaced typically every about 3 to 4 months, depending on how much you use it. If you don't use it as often, probably it might last a little longer. But for the average user, you're looking at about 3 to 4 months, you'll replace the fabric wiper. All right, so we can go ahead and go to what I want to show you as well, some of the different features that we have on the printer. As you can see, we have a light, so the green light means we're good, we're printing, everything's good to go. Another thing is when we're talking about maintenance is, remember we talked about that optimizer, how important it is. Optimizer goes down to the media, it goes on top of that optimizer, and that's what really is helping for migration, things like that. So what happens if this is maybe not in a super clean environment? Maybe there's some dust around. That dust is going to go into your material. And then if you have optimizer on top of that dust, now you have something in between your material. So you have material, dust, optimizer, can cause some kind of damage. We've thought about that and we said, how can we fix this? How can we do this? We've done a couple of things. We actually have some, we can call them like some fans that actually push any kind of dust and everything and keep this area inside clean. And we also have fabric wipers on the back that actually clean the media. So let's go ahead and walk around the back and show you that. So here we have our media, it's going through, and on the back here, see if I can show perfect. What we have is the media cleaning. So the best way I can describe it is, if you know those like Swiffer sweepers, that material that it has, that's the type of material it does. And what it's doing is it's collecting and wiping your material before it goes to the print process. This allowing it to be a lot cleaner than having any kind of dust. This collects any kind of dust and it helps get a near, a good, perfect printing environment for your material. This also comes with a brush, so you'll have it part of your kit. So part of your manual maintenance is coming back here, grabbing your little brush, cleaning off any kind of the dust that gets collected on here. Once you wipe off all that dust, it's simple as just clicking it in. There's just a little system here where we just click it right in and we're good to go. There's no sensors or anything on this. So you can actually clean this at any time, even during the print process. You can clean some of the ones that are not being used or however you prefer. Now, since we're back here, I also want to show you, when we talked about bringing over that chassis from our S series, we know it's proven and worked. It's because we did it right the first time. This is an industrial style take up and feed system. If you look at the metal on here, if you look at just how stable and sturdy this is, we did it really good and we're able to bring that in here. So it's really nice to do this here. We have a couple different, let me see, can we get the camera a little bit lower? We have a couple different ways to help bring up the media. We do know that some medias can get a little bit heavy. So you're able to place a roll on here, pick this up, and then slide in the mechanisms here to get that in there. Now, if you notice, let's get a little bit of wider view, Jake. Some of the questions I do get asked is, how much space do I need from the wall? And really from here, it's about 2 feet. Now, I would recommend anywhere from about 2 feet. We do have standards in the manual, but for everybody else who, we're trying to maximize our space, about 1.5 to 2 feet, you can comfortably get a roll on here pretty simply. On the back side, which I don't think you can, maybe you can see, I'm going to put my foot towards it right here. We have waste ink tanks, and the reason why we have 2 waste ink tanks is because one is for color one is for optimizer. And the reason for that is because remember that optimizer acts as a glue. So if we mix the two, they're going to harden up and they're going to have a big piece of plastic in there. So we separate the two and everything's separated on the actual waste ink tanks. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the front. Now, I told you I would show you the printhead. Now, if you can see this and see if we put it next to my head here for reference, but this is the massive 2.6-inch printhead. This is going to help with that, doing the extra things that we can do with turning off some of the channels and putting the optimizer first and then the ink on top. This is going to help with speed. We only have one printhead in here, so you're not having to deal with multiple printheads and replacing things like that. Or one printhead is all you need. And really it's because of all the ink chips that we call them, or channels here that have all the nozzles are all right on here. So this is our printhead. One thing I also wanted to mention is, why do the L version and the regular version? What's the difference there? And another thing is ink savings. So if you're going with the L version that's behind me, you're looking at about 12.5 cents per milliliter. And then if you're going with the regular version, you're looking at about 15 cents per milliliter. So over time, that definitely helps, and the total cost of ownership starts to go down. All right, another cool thing that we have here, and this is great, I recommend, I've seen it at some big shops, is we have a TV right here. Some people mount it to a wall. We have it here for display. Let's get a zoom into that TV. And this is EPSON Cloud Solution Port. There's a lot of data on here, and it's great for really understanding your print business, understanding how the machine's getting used, what's the best way to strategize on how much ink you want to order, how much material you got to order, how best are you using your printer. So on here, we have multiple printers. We have up to 34 printers logged or assigned into our account here. That's how many printers we have in our facility. Actually, it's some of them. But anyways, it gives me at what time I was printing. It gives me how much I've been printing. It gives me just some great data on here. Exportable Excel files that show me how much ink I'm using per job. It gives me all status fairly quick and easy. The nice thing is that this is great for production managers, for owners. You really want to see something, see how it's producing. The nice thing is that there's a mobile app for this as well, where everybody has a cell phone in their pocket today. You're able to jump on the app, see how your printer's acting, see what it's doing, see if it has any errors. The nice thing, it also does, it gives messages if you have a smartwatch. I have an Apple Watch. Every time something happens, I get a notification on my watch. Now I know to look for it, and you can set that up. So very nice feature. And then it automatically reboots every couple seconds to make sure it's getting live data. All right. So with that being said, I went through a lot of information today. And if you guys think of any questions, feel free to email, contact, your local distributor or whoever you purchase EPSON products from, or our partners, and we can all answer some questions. And then for those of you interested, when you talk to your dealers, ask them for some samples. A lot of the dealers that sell, they do have the products, and they can print out some samples, and you can just see. Hopefully, you can see. You can see the vibrancy and the saturation that you're able to get with these printers. Very nice quality. And with that, I think I gave a pretty decent overview of the SureColor R series printers. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope, I guess you covered it all.
That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, I've done a couple of these presentations, and we get practice over time, because I think I covered a lot of the different questions I get from different customers. But yeah, there's always a couple of them that come up. So if you guys, please feel free to always email or ask questions.
Is there just a quick question, and you may not be the right person to ask this one, but where some of us probably, at least myself on the phone here, I'm a new owner, and we're getting ready to purchase our package, our equipment from you guys, Sign World, however it works. Is this something that would be getting offered through the Sign World package or at some point in time, or probably we're a ways away from that?
That is Sheree. That would
Sheree
probably,
or Jack? Yeah, probably Jack I would need to talk to, or Terry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's available today on contract. Sorry, this is Emmy.
Dan and Jack will go over all of your options in training. Oh, Dan. Yeah, Dan and Jack will go over all of your options and of printers and upgrades and all that with you. And they'll go over like the final balance and stuff.
Yeah, we go to place our order. Yep. Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. So with that being said, I believe Sheree did record this presentation, and she'll be giving it out to everybody that was on here. If you guys want to go back and see a couple different things. Also, feel free to visit epson.com/resin. That's epson.com/RESIN, and it'll take you to the landing page where you get some more information on the actual printers as well. All right, so thank you everybody from Carson, California, and I'll go ahead and you want to end it, Sheree?
Yeah, thank you all, everyone. Thanks, David. What a great presentation and demo. Like, that was awesome. And like he said, I have recorded this session, so it'll be up on the site next week. And if you need a copy, I can send you that as well. I put their email addresses in the chat, which also will be on the Sign World owner site under the preferred partner section, as well as the website that David mentioned. Other than that, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions outside of the call, let me know and we can organize accordingly. Other than that, have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks so much for coming today.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.